Hello, everybody. It is Whitney here in Seacrest Studios, and today is our monthly visit with Messer Construction. But our visitor today is not with Messer, but he's working on the project with Messer. We'll get to that in a minute. But it is interview a construction worker time. So if you have a question that you've always wanted to know about working in construction or about what it's like, anything, you can call 33333 on your hospital phone or 513-803-3333 on your cell phone. And our special guest today is Joe. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome. So the company name is Peck,
Hannaford
and Briggs. Okay.
Right.
I knew I was not going to remember that. I tried. And you are a pipe fitter.
Pipe fitter, right.
So tell us a little bit about what that is and what you do, all that stuff.
Okay, a pipe fitter is, well, they've been around for a while. Mm-hmm. And started out, the reason they're called pipe fitters because when we first started the trade, you had to make your own fittings, and now you just buy them already made. And what you do is what we do is we weld pipes together and we braze pipe. Anything to do with piping would be a pipe fitter's job. Pipe fitters don't venture over into plumbing because plumbing is another trade.
Okay.
And that has to do with water, drinking water. Plumbers do drinking water and, of course, your bathrooms. Mm-hmm. And what we do mostly is process piping or the heating in the hospital to keep the hospital comfortable. We do the cooling on hot days, keep the hospital cool. Mm-hmm. And when we do some other things like steam, where they might use steam to sanitize instruments and different things.
Okay. That was, you answered my question of, is that correlated with a plumber and everything? Because to me, for me, pipes are pipes, so I think they all kind of go together. But so there are different.
There's a difference.
There is a difference.
A plumber, you have to have a plumbing license to do plumbing. And as a pipe fitter, you have to be licensed to weld, certified to weld, because you have to be able to weld pipes together. So hopefully they don't leak.
Yeah. Well, I would say welding's an important job.
Yeah, we have to learn. We have to learn welding and all the different aspects of putting pipes together.
Yeah.
Whatever that might be, maybe a plastic pipe with glue, and just whatever that it happens to be.
Yeah. You were talking about you used to have to measure and for the right pipes and everything, but now they just make them the right size. So
used to when you was wanting to put a pipe up and you had to make a turn, well, you had to make the turn out of pipe. But now we kind of buy 90s already made.
They buy there's corner pieces made.
So it's just like every other trade. It's kind of changed a little bit and in different ways.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that change at least made life a little bit easier.
Yeah, it is a little easier. There's a lot of measuring and different things you have to do.
Yeah. So day to day, walk us through a typical day, if there is such a thing as a typical day.
Well, a typical day, especially here in the hospital, over in the new G building, a typical day starts out, we meet in a place, and you have to sign in, and then it's all for, most of it's for safety reasons. You got to sign in, they put everybody's name, so then you have to sign out. So if somebody's missing on the list, so and then we do what's called a stretch and flex. We stretch and flex because that's part of it, because it helps you throughout your day. Maybe keep you from pulling muscles or different things. And then our foreman gives our daily task, what we need to do, and then we have a safety briefing. Where we're reminded of different things, to be safe. Usually falls, any kind of thing to be safe. And then if you happen to see a safety issue, the day before, you can bring things up. But mostly trying to be safe.
Yeah.
I would say that's how our day starts out. And then you go and you have your daily tasks that you need to do, and whatever it might be, running a pipe from point A to point B, and you go out and you try to get it done.
Yeah. So being safe is number one. And I would say that's something similar to if you work in the hospital. Once it's built, that's a number one thing for everyone here too, is safety.
Yeah, and I do a lot of work in here, and it's even more so.
Yeah.
Because you got of course you have the patients in here, so we have to be clean and safe.
Yeah, absolutely. What is your favorite part of your job?
My favorite part is quitting time. No.
I think everyone can say that about everyone's job. There's no shame in that.
Yeah.
Going home is always good, even if you're in school.
I think my favorite part is probably rigging. Rigging's where you use the crane, and we rig all of our equipment on the roof or wherever it happens to be, and it kind of breaks up, the day-to-day, because you don't do rigging a whole lot, but once in a while you get to do rigging and rig, where you get to use the tower crane or whatever crane they happen to have. But here at the hospital, I think they have 3 tower cranes, and so you get to use those, and you get to walkie-talkie, and you control it for a little while. So it's I kind of like doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that sounds more like when you play like imaginary construction site. That's kind of like you're talking to walkie-talkies and stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit more of like being a kid a little bit.
Yeah.
While being responsible and safe.
Right. That's it. You kind of get to be a kid for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you guys do that, are you bringing up, like if you're bringing up to a certain floor, you're bringing up everything that you're going to use for that day or for the whole project on that floor?
What usually happens when you're doing your rigging is you're bringing up equipment like the big air handlers that control the air in the hospital. I know over here in the G building, they're up on the roof. The big, I don't know if you've seen them, but they take them up, and they're pretty big. And the boilers going up there, and the pumps.
Okay.
And some of the material that we'll be using. Yeah. Okay. Anything that we really can't get up on a elevator, the buck hoist it's called. Anything we can't get up on the buck hoist, too big for that, or too big, or we can't carry up steps, then we schedule the crane to lift it.
Okay, gotcha. All right, the hardest part of your job.
The hardest part is probably welding when it's hot. The heat. I know I don't weld as much as used to because I'm getting a little older now. I'm a pretty old guy for what I do. Okay. So most of the guys are a little younger, but I have to bear the heat because when you're welding, that's a hot job. And then
can you explain welding to kids that might not know what that is?
Oh, okay. Welding is when you weld pipes together, you're using what we usually use is electricity, an arc. It's a arc of electric, and what that does is you put a welding rod, and it looks like a stick, a
made
straw maybe, and you put that in, and it melts the metal together. And when you do that, then you seal the pipe around there, and so that's what we learn how to do, and it takes a while to learn how to do that, and that's it's a pretty hot job because you got to wear a jacket, and you have to wear gloves, and you have to wear a hood, and all this. It can be 90 degrees out, and you have to wear this stuff. So, but it protects you because what happens when you weld? It's like when you go out in the sun, and you get sunburnt. Well, welding does the same thing to you. It'll burn you. Burn your skin. So
is it because you'll see sparks and stuff sometimes a little bit with welding. So
the ultraviolet light burns you.
Oh, okay.
Just like the sun. So the flash of light. So you got to protect yourself from that, and you get burnt from the sparks too. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of hot, and that's That's kind of a drag when it's hot out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being hot with hot weather is not pleasant. Yeah. So what got you interested in your field? Like, how did you?
I kind of, it wasn't that I woke up one day and I chose to do it. I kind of, I guess over time, I kind of got into it. The main reason was, to be quite honest, was for the money.
Yeah.
And I enjoy a lot of it. I really do. But that's probably the reason that I got into it was, make a pretty good living.
I would say welders and stuff now, we've talked about this, I feel like almost every month when we have this, welders are in high demand and thing. I mean,
right.
Those hard labor jobs are,
all the trades are in demand, and if any, and I would encourage if someone would want to get into any of the trades, carpentry, plumbing, any of those trades, you can it's a good thing to get into. I wouldn't discourage it any. Yeah. And it's you get some training. You go to school, and pipe fitters have a 5-year program and training program, and they train you on how to do it, and you work while you're. So it's really a pretty good deal. Yeah. You don't have all the tuition to pay.
Yeah. When you started the schooling, did you know right away you were going to go into pipe fitting, or had you started on a different track? Or
when I personally, a lot of the young men now, they go into doing pipe fitting.
Okay.
They decide you can either be. Our union is pipe fitters and plumbers.
Okay.
So we're all in the same union.
All right.
And so they decide when they sign up. I want to go into plumbing, or I want to go into pipe fitting. So, and then from that point on, that's what they're trained to do.
Okay, gotcha. What is your favorite project you have worked on, and why?
Favorite project, probably. Well, I kind of like working here. I've worked a lot of places. And here and the airport, I liked working there because I like planes.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But the reason I like working here is because of the different things that you do. I've done some things here that I've not been able to do or have never done anywhere else. Yeah. Different kinds of piping and different things that I've never done anywhere else. And that's what I like about here. And music hall, I like working at music hall because it was old and there's a lot of ghosts down there.
Yeah.
And it was a unique place. I was glad I got to work there, and I liked it.
Was there any weird finds when you were working there?
Yes, there was some weird. Found some bones.
Oh wow!
And down in the sub basement, they was digging around and found some bones. And
oh wow!
I'm not sure.
It's been around for a long time. Who knows what? Yeah.
I'm not really sure. Never did hear a lot about it, but
interesting.
Any
ghost sightings?
No, heard some talk, but I know they've been down there looking for ghosts. Apparently, they've seen some ghosts down there. But
I did a Cincinnati ghost tour, and that was one of the stops. And the stories they were telling, I was like, okay, I'm not going in there.
Yeah, it is kind of spooky in there. I mean, there's some spooky places.
Yeah.
And it didn't take much to spook me.
Yeah. So that's me. I'm like,
yeah.
Dark. Nope. I'm leaving.
Whistle while you're walking along.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was an interesting place.
That's cool. A lot of history there, and a lot of Cincinnati history.
Yeah, a lot of history. They would tear stuff out and find more stuff, and they would want to keep,
I would say when working on a place like that, they probably want to keep as much of the original as they can.
Yeah, they tried to. I know they tore some ceilings out, and then above the ceiling there was this beautiful ceiling, and they tried to do that.
Yeah. What was your favorite class or subject, either in like high school, grade school, or when you were in trade school?
My favorite subject? Well, I'm going to school now.
Oh, really?
And I'm a beekeeper.
Oh, cool.
And right now I'm doing some online courses from Cornell University. Okay. Getting my master beekeeping certificate.
Wow.
And so I have to go up there next year up to Cornell, take the test, and then we work in the bee yard up there with some of the people, and then. But right now I'm doing all the online stuff, so
yeah,
that's my. I know it doesn't have a whole lot to do with
no,
pipe fit.
that's okay. It doesn't have to. So what? Okay, now we have a whole other subject.
Yeah.
Hold on, Kevin's got a question now.
We're just
I
gonna
know
go
his
ahead and
eyes
talk
lit
about
up.
bees for a hot second.
You got Kevin very
What started that?
Well, when I was young, probably 12 years old, I got a beehive. The old fella down the road gave me a beehive. Didn't have any bees in it. So I got the beehive, and I spent all summer trying to get some bees to put in my beehive. I never did get any. But finally I convinced my dad into getting me some, so I started that. And then now I have a business. I have a beekeeping business. I sell beehives all over the U.S., and I sell bees, and I sell honey.
Wow.
That's the most fun fact I heard all day. So fun.
Yeah, if you're interested in a beehive, just let me know, and I can fix you up.
I have a honeycomb and bees on my phone. So.
Oh, okay. I have a YouTube channel too. I have a Dana Bee Farm, and I have a online store. So
I know Kevin's gonna be Googling things.
yeah, I have some videos that tells you how to do it.
Very cool.
Start when you're first starting out.
I guess I didn't realize there was like you could get a master's in beekeeping.
Yeah, you can get a master beekeeper, and I really just decided to do that. I started my classes last spring, and to do it, and so jumped in there. I'm 61 years old, so it's cool. It's getting a little kind of like Colonel Sanders, starting late.
That's like you have a whole other career ahead of you though. After with your current one, but
right,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so, I'm real interested.
So
in that.
Is it all honeybees or different kinds of?
Yeah, it's just honeybees. Okay. Honeybees are they're in trouble, and it's hard to keep bees now because of the different things that's happened to them. So it's important. Beekeeping's very important now, and beekeepers are important and need all we can get because of the stress the bees are under. And so I think it's a very important job.
Yeah. Is there anything that people could do at home? Like, I know at my house I try to leave a portion of my hill uncut and plant wildflowers to help encourage.
Yes, that's something you can do. Anything like that helps. Flowering plants can help. Yeah. What's the problem with what's happening to the bees is a lot of different things. Most of it's pollution, insecticides, and farmers with fertilize, and because honeybees are very environmental and they're dependent on their environment where they're at. So they bring all that back to the hive. Excuse me, and so. That's what's happening to them. Plus, there's a little mite that they get. It about wiped them out about 10 years ago, the varroa mite, and it got over here to the U.S. And so it's one of the main reasons for the bees to be in the shape they're in now.
Yeah. No, that's fascinating. So I take it you weren't scared of bees when you were little. Because I was terrified of them.
Well, I am kind of afraid of them, yeah. I wear a suit and, and all that. So I still get stung, and it still is just
hurts.
As painful as it always was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was always my thing, because I used to get stung all the time playing outside. And so then when you get stung, you get scared, but they're not trying to hurt you. They're just trying to find things to pollinate, right?
Bees sting you for a couple of reasons. If a bee is out in the field and he's working or she is working, they're all females. Yeah. If they're out working, they usually won't bother you. They're too busy. But if you step on one or whatever. But if you get into the hive like I do, then they
Are that, is that them trying to tell you go away?
Yeah, what triggers a bee sting is your breath, the carbon dioxide in your breath. Oh. They smell that, and all their enemies, bears, skunks, all their enemies, that's a smell they don't like. So
interesting.
That's why they.
That's why when people when they freak out with bees and they're breathing. When they freak out and they're breathing a whole bunch, and that probably makes it a whole lot worse.
Oh.
Right, makes it worse. Yeah.
So just stay calm, let them land. They're not going to sting you if they don't feel agitated. So
yeah,
but it's hard not to if you're afraid of bees. It's hard not to freak out. When
You,
but
right.
Just try to slowly back away.
Yeah.
The best thing to do if you're getting stung or if a lot of bees are trying to sting you is to go in somewhere. If you can go in a car or if you can go in a house,
just get out of the space.
Because a lot of times, if you can go in a house or a barn, they don't like to go inside. They'll kind of stay outside. So
interesting. Okay. Well, that's cool. All right. If you have any questions about bees, we have an expert down here now.
Yeah. If you want to ask questions about bees, I know more about bees than I do pipe fitting.
Hey, I mean that's cool. We don't meet beekeepers every day or see them all the time, so that's cool. Now, okay, I do have a question. Now that it's getting colder and in the wintertime, how does that affect beekeeping?
What bees do in the winter is they stay in the hive and they cuddle and they get in a cluster about the size of a basketball, and in the center of that cluster is the queen. And they keep her warm.
Keep the queen warm.
And the temperature in the center is between 80 and 90 degrees.
Wow.
All winter. And what they do is they get in this cluster and they buzz, and it causes friction. And the friction causes heat. And the bees on the outside, they'll stay out there for a little while. And then they'll move in, and they take turns like that so they don't freeze.
Yeah.
But by doing that, they can live, and I mean, you know how cold it gets.
Yeah.
And they survive.
And so they stay in the hives doing that, or what?
Yeah,
about
they
if they're
can't
out?
fly when it gets below 50 degrees.
Okay.
They can't really fly because they can't flap. It's too cold. They can't flap their wings fast enough to fly. So they'll stay in the hive.
What about bees? I guess all bees have a hive. Just some are natural and some are
right. The
man-made ones.
They're called feral bees.
Okay.
And they're the same bees.
Okay.
But they live out in a tree wherever they decide to live, in your house, in the walls,
on the porch roof. That's
porch
where,
roof. Yeah.
where I feel like they always are.
Yeah. And so they'll go to places like that.
Okay. All right. Sorry, that popped in my head as I was telling people to call in. I was like, actually.
Yeah.
All right. Now some more fun things to learn more about you. What is your favorite color and why?
My favorite color?
Yeah.
I've always liked green.
Okay.
And I'm not sure why I like green.
Just drawn to it.
I guess. I think when I was in first grade, I decided green's going to be my favorite color.
Yeah. And it just stuck.
Yeah, I just kind of stuck that way. I mean, I guess because of the grass, green grass.
Yeah.
I was about to say
green trees.
Yeah, I would say you seem to like the outdoors, so that would make sense.
Right, yeah.
Do you have any brothers, sisters, kids, grandkids?
Yes, I have brothers. I have 2 brothers, and I have 4 sisters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Were you youngest, middle, or oldest?
I am kind of in the middle.
Okay.
And then I got 2 children.
Okay.
I have a son. He's 29, and he's a funeral director.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And my daughter, she's 34, and she's a school teacher, and she teaches 4th grade in Louisville.
Very cool. You have an interesting family, like as far as jobs and stuff.
Well, I remember going to my son's graduation down at the funeral home at the school,
not very.
And he showed me around, and that was a pretty interesting day.
I'm sure
Yeah,
it was. At least it was a happy occasion, right?
Yeah.
To be there.
Yeah, I was happy to get there and happy to leave.
Yeah. Do you like cats or dogs? Or I
kind of like. I think I might like cats. I know all my pipe fitter buddies are gonna, but I think I kind of like cats because I have a cat. His name's Gus, Gus is old, and he barely gets around now. But I like cats. Gus, they got their own,
they kind of do their own thing.
Their own thing, yeah.
Their own drum. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not quite as, my opinion, they're not as quite as much trouble as a dog.
They do. Dogs do cause trouble. So we learned about your beekeeping hobby and passion. It sounds like.
Yeah.
What any other hobbies that you do?
As far as I carve wood.
Oh, cool.
Right now I'm carving staffs, for
like walking,
hiking.
Yeah. Oh, hiking. Yeah.
So I'll carve those. I go out in the woods and find certain ones, and I carve those. I carve what's called a wood spirit in there. It's like an old man.
Yeah.
And and I'll put a compass in there.
Oh,
and,
that's smart.
And I give them to people. I kind of like doing that.
Man,
and
you're
that's
busy. Goodness.
That's what happened to my finger when I was carving there.
Oh, yeah.
I got hurt.
Be careful.
Doing my hobbies worse than I do at work.
Probably better that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. You're busy. I feel like I do
I'm very
nothing.
busy. Yeah,
like I read books.
My wife and I,
awesome.
we stay very busy.
Oh. Does she help out with?
Yeah, she takes care of our store. We have a store.
Okay.
We have two stores. We have a beekeeping store, and then we have one where we sell beekeeping products, soap, lip balm.
All that stuff's very popular right now,
honey,
too.
of course, and candles, anything you can get from bees.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, we got time for a couple more questions. What did you want to be when you were little?
When I was little, I wanted to be an astronaut.
Oh, fun.
But it didn't take me too long to figure out that I couldn't be an astronaut.
Not many people can.
Yeah, so that's why.
It takes a very special person to do that.
But I like Neil Armstrong, and I know he's got what is that up there in T building? Neil Armstrong's got.
Yeah, the pavilion part.
Yeah, up there.
Yeah.
So he's one of my heroes. Was one of my heroes. So
yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Last question. What is one of your biggest challenges you had to overcome as a kid or an adult? Or as an adult?
Challenge was my son. He had some problems. He had some illnesses, and as a matter of fact, he comes here to Children's.
Oh, wow.
And even though he's 20, he's 29 now. He still comes here, and he had some problems, and we was pretty concerned for a while, but he's fine now.
Sounds like he's doing good.
It was challenging for a while, and he luckily we came here, and they still do a little bit for him, and I appreciate it. But he's got a career. At one point, we didn't know about all this, if he's even going to be able to do anything. But now he's got a career, and he loves it, believe it or not. And yeah.
Yay.
So it all turned out.
Yeah. Turned out okay. That's what we like, happy endings.
Yeah.
Happy ending to stories are always good.
All
but
right.
Joe, thank you so much for being
Okay.
here today. And the beekeeping, I know we got on a tangent a little bit, but that was very
that's okay.
interesting and cool.
Like I said, I'd rather talk about that than just about anything else.
Oh, well, I'm glad we discovered that. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you to Joe, and we will be back on Monday. So have a great weekend. Bye, guys.